It's Wednesday, April 24th, 2013. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, the anime we're not watching.
Let's do this. All right, so I think it's just about, near the end of April. So it's time to curse the Mets because they're not doing the worst.
You know, every year.
Gotta make sure they do the worst.
Every year
as
when
they always
baseball
do.
season starts, either someone links it to me or whatever. It's in a forum somewhere. It's on Fark. There's just that video of Stewie Griffin and Family Guy sitting down for a baseball game, and the announcer's like, "And it's opening season, and the Mets have lost." And then he's like throws his hat down and walks away.
Yep. That's how it is. But anyway, we have a pitcher on our team. His name's Matt Harvey, right? And he's apparently like the best. He's pretty much the best pitcher there is. He just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much though, because I mean, there was a point where the Tigers had a great pitcher, didn't win.
Yeah. So I thought of talking about this as an opening bit because I saw a guy on the subway just now wearing a Matt Harvey jersey.
Oh.
And he didn't go to. He thought he was going to get on the 7 and go to the game, but he didn't.
What?
The game, he got off at Queensboro Plaza and he went somewhere.
No, so you thought he was. I thought you said he thought like he was going to the game.
I thought he was going to the game, and I'm like,
the way you said that, I thought he thought he was going to the game and then didn't. And I was like, well, how could you even know?
No,
was he like, I'm going to the Mets
You see someone
game.
going on the 7 train platform wearing a lot of Mets shit. You think they're going to get on the 7 train, especially when the game's going to start at like 7:10, right? He could have easily made it to that game on time. He was on the train that was the perfect way to get to the game.
I would posit that that's only the case if he's also loud and or belligerent on the train.
No, that's on the way home after drinking. But anyway, so... the thing is, right, my dad's name is Harvey. So we usually have a no jersey buying policy because if I buy a Matt Harvey jersey, guess what's going to happen? He's going to break his arm, right? It's guaranteed. It's basically saying, hey, sporting goods store, I will pay you, I don't know, what do they cost? Like $75 to $100? I'll give you $100 if you can make sure that Matt Harvey breaks his arm like in the next week.
So it's funny
They'll say,
because...
thank you, here, have a free jersey as a token of...
You see, hockey has such the opposite culture. Like, you buy the jersey of the guy that you are sure is going to live forever, and he will. I mean, I still have a Fedorov jersey, an Osgood jersey. I think I even have a Vernon jersey laying around.
Well, you should have bought a Yager jersey. He's fucking live forever. Anyway.
Yeah. My brother has, I think, a Konstantinov.
My dad can buy a Matt Harvey jersey because at least for him, it'll be good even if Matt Harvey, gets hit by a bus.
Because he'll still be like...
Because it says Harvey on it.
So it's Harvey wearing the Harvey jersey, drinking a Harvey Wallbanger.
Sure.
Though, it's kind of a random aside, but I was, I have this, whitewater rafting jersey that I just have that I wear when I go skiing, over my Under Armour, but under
that
my
white one.
Yeah, but under my ski jacket. So when I'm in the lodge, I have something on other than just my undershirt, basically. Mm-hmm. And it's for warmth and whatever. No one ever commented on it. It was totally utilitarian, kind of old and stained and worn out. The last few times I went skiing, I started wearing my Fedorov Red Wings jersey instead. And apparently, Red Wings jerseys are girl magnets.
Okay.
Because once I was wearing that instead of my white jersey, girls would hit on me at the bar after I was skiing before I got on the bus home, reliably.
It is a ski lodge.
Yeah.
What do you think they do there? They're not skiing.
They were always
You're the only one who's
Canadian,
going there to ski.
Or they're from upstate New York, or they're locals.
You are the only one who is at the ski lodge for skiing, except for that old guy with the crazy not matching clothes and the young kid on the bunny slope, right? And the ski patrol.
I've talked about this a lot. Well, not a lot, but I brought it up often. But now that I've gotten past the middle point of the show, I want to give a kind of for real review of From the New World or Shin Sekai Yori, because I've seen enough now to know that it is a good show. In the very least, the worst case scenario, this is a B+ anime, beaten out Scrap Princess.
Is this the one that had a porny manga, or was it the porny adaptation of the non-porny manga? I forget which direction it was.
There is it's complicated. I'll put it this way. What this show is about, and I believe it's based on some light novels. There may be a manga involved,
in other words,
too.
it's porn.
No. So here's the deal. People say that, but it's actually a plot point that's kind of zebra storyteller-ish and interesting. The plot of this show is that...
Sounds like a true bra excuse.
Okay, so hear me out. In the nearing future, some sort of modern society like today, suddenly, out of nowhere, people start manifesting psychic powers, like X-Men style, but imagine if everyone had Jean Grey's powers.
Great.
Automatically.
This is the end of the world.
So, and the opening
Immediately.
montage is horrifying. Like a kid just suddenly everyone around him explodes in piles of blood and
Yeah.
cars are just flying everywhere. Society basically falls apart.
So it's a lot like, what's it called? That's the cute town that's actually Murderville with the labor unions or whatever it was.
What are you talking about?
That anime where everything...
Oh, the one with Colonel Sanders, When They Cry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Higurashi that has
Yeah.
a million sequels.
I kind of liked that show, and
I
that
watched
show
one
actually,
episode of it.
I was about to say that show's relevant to our topic
It
today.
is indeed.
So you made me lose my train of thought there. Right, so Shin Sekai Yori. So this happens. You just get like this sort of montage of this happening. And then the show just starts with a bunch of kids in elementary school in what looks like old Japan, but with a few anachronistic modern technologies laying about.
So it's a prequel to Adventure Time.
And it's weird, and you're not really sure what's going on. And basically, the plot is that society, Futurama style. Remember when you see that montage where he's frozen and like society gets destroyed by aliens, then
Yep.
castles, then
Yep.
aliens destroy the castles. The same thing happens. Society kind of rebuilds over time, and eventually the society that works is based on this amalgam of old cultures and hypnotism and eugenics and societal structures set up in place to allow humans who basically have Jean Grey's powers to coexist with each other and not accidentally murder everybody.
Okay.
And it works really well. But at the same time, the eugenics is to such a degree because the danger is so clear.
Let's see this baby. Oh, this is a dangerous baby. Kill it.
Yeah, there's a point where you find out, this is kind
You're
of a
not allowed to
spoiler.
have babies.
You find out from, I guess, the ethics committee that they changed the constitution or the rules of the society so that the date before which it is legal to abort someone is moved from like a week or two after birth to the age of 17. And
In case they discover somebody's going to destroy the world by accident, they
So-
got to,
the way I would describe this show really is it's a post-apocalyptic psychic 1984.
All right.
And it's really good. And the reason it's really good, I want to compare it to another show we tried to watch and didn't watch called Number 6. Because Number 6 started out in kind of the same way in the sense that, all right, there's some awesome stuff here. There's some kind of mystery of space. There's all the stuff that I care about. And then that show just went nowhere. It had like the worst pacing. Like it got to a point of, all right, now it's time to move on to the next thing. And then it stayed on a thing for so long that I stopped watching.
I noticed this theme a lot in anime. Number 6, Ergo Proxy, Razafan of the, there's an evil 1984 society in a dome and something else going on outside the dome. Big O has the same thing.
But some shows, like Number 6, as soon as they get outside of the dome, the plot just goes nowhere. And the end is stupid. Emily spoiled it for me. I'm glad I didn't watch Number 6. Fuck that show.
All right.
So the reason this show is good, one, is pretty good music. Two, it escalates rapidly. And it time skips several times.
Where's all this porn come in?
Okay, so one of the aspects of the show is that basically the plot, like you don't know what's going on. They just keep showing you vignettes from different eras of history. Like at one point it cuts to some point that looks older than the current time in the show, but much newer than the apocalypse. And it looks like a traditional Japanese, like, this is the new emperor. And then the emperor uses psychic power to float over the crowd and very happily announces that that in celebration of the inauguration of his eternal reign, the first 100 people to stop clapping will be executed. And then later you see a flashback of later than that, someone assassinating him. And it keeps going back and forth between current day and these weird sort of flashbacks to things that happened in this society. And then eventually the kids, who are kind of the focus of the show, they're like the main characters, go on a school trip and they go kind of outside of where they're supposed to. And they find a library and they get zebra storytellered because the library is like, yeah, your society is designed, eugenics, babies get murdered. And they're like, what? And they learn things like, here's an example. Like the show kind of goes really in depth. There's a point at which they learn.
You skipped over all the porn part.
I'm getting to the porn part. So they learn that humans have this sort
Why
of...
don't you just tell everyone the whole show? You've been going on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, because this is not the spoiler stuff. You sort of learn that like one of the ways society works is that humans cannot harm things that look like humans.
Mm-hmm.
That's like embedded deep into the psyche of all people.
Except for that kid who just made everyone explode around him.
That was way before. That was before this new society existed.
Okay.
That was like modern times. It's like today, kid in the street gets psychic powers. One of those things is that what is implanted into humans is very sort of specific sexual needs and progression such that they won't get pregnant or have, the urges that might cause them to lash out until they're ready, and then they'll sort of immediately pair off and have babies. And in stressful situations, they took genes and brain things from bonobos, so people will respond to stressful situations with pleasure or sex rather than violence.
So in other words, they created that plot point just to put lots of porn
No,
in.
they actually don't really show that at all.
Then why are all these pictures of the show really sort of perverted looking like all the other animes?
I really don't know because I've seen 14 episodes of the show and that's not there at all. There is literally nothing like that in the show.
Okay.
There is one point where one of the girls is in a relationship with another one of the girls because that's how the society's set up. They don't want them to have babies yet, so they're all kind of automatically homosexual. But the show, that's just part of the, what's going on. Suddenly the girl's like, because she knows about the bonobo thing, she wants to kiss the other girls. She's like, wait a minute. This is just the society psychic bullshit, 1984. And these kids are all sort of zebra storytellered, and the ethics committees and everything are watching them, and it's just like 1984, but
they have
psychics.
psychic powers.
Yeah, everyone has psychic powers.
Yeah, it's a psychic battle time.
They can't battle each other because of that thing where you can't hurt other humans.
Are you physically prevented from doing so? Or
You basically die if you try to do it.
Uh-huh.
The show is really, really good.
Fine, I'll just knock this building down. I was hurting the building. Oops.
That's also very difficult to do. I mean, I'm trying to skip stuff because you wanted me to not talk about the show too much.
Anyway.
I'll put it this way. The show is really well
There's
done,
no reason to watch a show now.
really well animated, escalates very rapidly. Every time I think, all right, now the show is going to get boring, it immediately skips to the next plot point, Burning Wheel style. And every time you think, well, why don't the characters just do act? Yeah, they do pretty much immediately. They're smarter than you, or at least as smart as you. And I really like this show. I think it's the best anime I'm watching currently or know about that is on recently that I haven't seen yet.
All right.
So I'll probably finish it soon. And whenever Scott watches it, we'll do a kind of full review. But it's super
I'm not
good.
watching your porn.
If you need any anime to watch, right now, watch Shin Sekai Yori. It's all on Crunchyroll.
All right, so we've been talking about this for 1,000 years. The Monaco is out today.
Yes, I've been playing it for about a week because I have a review copy.
I bought a 4-pack pre-ordered. I gave away 2 keys already, one in the newsletter that you should subscribe to, and one on Google Plus on our Google Plus page, which you should, look at. So, hey, benefits for following us in all the places.
Yep.
Monaco is the best.
Monaco is pretty fun.
If you play video games and you have a computer, you should be playing this video game. Seriously,
I'll sell it to you in
How often do we say this video game is the game to play?
Very
It doesn't even
briefly.
begin with N.
The way I would sell it to you is it's a stealth, cooperative, competitive game. But unlike most stealth games, like Mark of the Ninja, where, I got seen, start over, fuck this. When you get seen, it's, oh shit, and that's when you start bombing everything and running away, and it's just like a heist movie.
It's a party game.
It's a party game heist movie with
It
retro,
might
cool
be
graphics.
the ultimate party game that's actually not just something like Tetris or
Well,
Spot
the
It.
ultimate party game is still a WarioWare on the GameCube.
I'm just saying,
There's no better
this
party
might
game
be like
than
the
that.
skill-based party game,
It's pretty great.
which has never really existed before.
I'm digging it, and our review will probably be on Tuesday.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So, things of the day. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm a pretty big fan of Adventure Time, and it had the same progression that Ponies had, that a lot of things I've seen recently had, even Venture Brothers, where I watched the first couple episodes of something. I'm like, all right, this is okay. I know why. I understand why people like it now, but I'm not that into it. And then a few more episodes later, just one of my favorite things ever. Adventure Time pretty much followed that exact same progression. I watch every episode the day it comes out on some ultra like bootleg camcat bullshit.
Okay.
It's great. My thing of the day is just a pretty good what time is it musical mashup from Adventure Time that reminds me very much of this cool guy who did similar mashups of, for example, the old Alice in Wonderland cartoon.
You mean Pogo?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who can't come in the U.S. because he fucked up his visa.
Pogo's pretty cool. This is reminiscent of his style, and it's also, if you haven't seen Adventure Time, it gives you a nice sampling of what the deal is with Adventure Time.
All right. So, my thing of the day, this guy works at Publix, which is a pretty good grocery store, not as good as Wegmans, but it's down in Florida. Publix has a secret. If you've never been to one, if you live down south where they have these stores, you can actually go to the deli counter where they have the meats and the cheeses and get peanut butter that they make in the store from peanuts. Fresh is the best peanut butter. But
The grocery store right here has that too.
which grocery store?
The food seller, like right there.
That's a fancy grocery store.
Yeah.
This would be like if Stop and Shop had that shit. This is like, if you went to, Fine Fair and they had some Trader Joe's shit up in. It's like, whoa, what is this doing here? Because Publix is like a normal grocery store. It's like a Stop and Shop, but it's like they got some pretty good stuff there that you wouldn't expect to be. So anyway, this guy works in a Publix. He looks like maybe a high school kid or whatever. I can't even tell. And he's cutting up a watermelon because you know what they do is they have an ugly watermelon that's not going to sell, so they cut it up and they'll sell slices in a plastic package, or they'll put up a bunch of chunks into like a little plastic cup and sell that. You know how grocery stores do. So he's cutting up a watermelon. This dude can cut the whole watermelon in 30 seconds or less. It is crazy, his watermelon cutting skills. You got to invite him to your 4th of July party.
It goes to show, if you have a job that makes you do one thing that's boring and mechanical repeatedly, you will get good at it.
I always have a lot of respect for people with those menial jobs where they get, incredible dexterity and, reflex skills.
Dude, Scott, to this day, you should see me or Alex make a fucking submarine sandwich after working at Cabela's.
But it's like, see how many videos or things of the day where like guy really good at ironing, or guy really good at making pancake, or guy really good at doing his little ice cream trick where he gives you ice cream and then takes it back, all that kind of stuff. I kind of actually, think one day, maybe when I'm an old man or when computers program themselves, I'll get a job like that and master some meaningless skill for awesomeness. I kind of want to do that.
Book Club book is
Player of Games
by Ian M. Banks. We'll do it soon. It's biking season.
Probably next month.
I don't read as much as I do normally in biking season because I primarily read on the subway. We got internet stuff. We're going to be at Anime Boston. We're going to be at PAX Australia. We're going to be at PAX Prime. We might be at PAX Dev. We're going to be at
Kineticon comes before PAX Australia.
Yeah, we're going to be at all those things. It's going to be awesome. Check out our YouTubes. And Rave Master was a pretty shitty show. I don't know. I know you watched way more of it than I did.
I watched like 5, 6, 7 episodes. Something like that. It was long ago. I don't remember.
We were trying to think about a show vaguely around the idea of anime we won't watch or didn't watch, but I realized...
Or started watching and didn't finish watching.
Because I thought way back, someone put together a pretty good list. It was like the 100 best anime of all time. And I remember looking at the list and realizing I had watched like 97 of them.
Most of them.
And I knew what the other 3 were.
Yeah, I knew what every single thing on the list was, and I had seen the overwhelming plurality of them.
And I realized I've seen a lot of goddamn anime, but yet... there is a large list of anime that I have specifically, despite knowing it exists, chosen not to watch it. And I'm not talking about stuff that I barely know exists, like, I don't know, crappy new moe show that is obviously just incest.
Yeah, like I know there's a show called Canon, but do I really need to tell you why I haven't watched it?
Yeah, I watched one episode of that Tokimeki anime and it was awful.
There was the Tokimeki anime?
I got it because V-Kill, the guy who did those Sailor Moon subs and the End of Ava subs back in the day that I got, he also randomly subbed that.
Yeah.
So I got it.
Let's start by talking about anime that we started watching but didn't finish, and then we'll move on from there.
Rave Master.
So Rave Master, I watched 5, 6 episodes.
I watched 2 episodes and I remember thinking it was just dumb. And I actually stopped watching current anime after that because that was the popular show everyone was watching. I was like, you know what?
It wasn't that popular.
In the anime club at the time, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
We showed it in the anime club, and then people were all talking about it and watching it. Like,
I don't remember
that was the show all the normal people in the club would talk about before club. for like weeks.
I don't remember that. I watched just a few episodes because it was the new show. It had bright colors. It was basically an adventure show where the guy had a big sword and a pet, and the pet was really cute. And there was some sort of mysterious fantasy adventure that I want to know the secret of. But what ended up happening was after 5-6 episodes, I realized, wait a minute. And I rewinded and I looked. They spent like 4 or 5 episodes in a row, like a whole bunch of them. They were in one room. All the characters are in that room, not leaving the room. It was like some throne room or something, right? And just this one battle that was even slower than a Naruto battle. And I was like, wow, nothing has happened in these past 2 episodes. And it's still the same battle. Not watching anymore.
Yep.
The same thing happened to me with Naruto.
Oh my God. I remember when Naruto, like the people who were watching, because, we were running the anime club, so we didn't have as much time to watch anime. A few of the harder core people in the club watched Naruto before us and were raving about it.
Everyone was raving about Naruto, and this was Naruto was brand new, the newest.
So we were like, all right, it's Funny Ninja School. Let's show it to the club. So
I had never seen it. But everyone was talking it up, so I said I'll get to it someday.
So
we
showed
it
4
at a club,
episodes.
and I watched those 4 episodes, and I said, that is hysterical, that ninja school with the sexy no jutsu. Everyone was totally right. The show was awesome.
That show was awesome. And then I recall...
So I went home, and I kept watching Naruto.
Yep, and I recall a moment...
Because it was so awesome.
Where actually 2 moments ruined the show for me.
I got to episode 13.
The moment that ruined it for me was there was this whole build-up in this big fight that I didn't notice yet was just a Dragon Ball fight. And the whole thing was, how did Naruto do that? Like, how did he win? I don't know. Everyone's trying to figure out how he won. And then it was just some proper noun bullshit.
He just used a special technique.
And I was like, wait a minute, how long did that fight? Wait a minute, this is Dragon Ball. And I didn't watch
I got
anymore.
to episode 13. They were basically in this fight against like Magic Crystal Mirror Girl and Big Sword Guy. And it was, Naruto and the girl and Sasuke. I don't remember the girl's name anymore. Right? And they're fighting against Magic Mirror Crystal Girl and Big Sword Guy. It's like the first big fight of the show. And first of all, I'm already upset because Funny Ninja School is gone, right?
Yep.
And the best character, the teacher guy, is not there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where's the awesome teacher? I want him in every episode. He should be the main character. And that fight finally ends in like episode 13. And I said, wait a minute, Rave Master. This fight has been going on since like episode 7. Not watching any more Narutos.
I don't think we need to belabor the point on fighting shows, but suffice it to say, there's a problem we had in those days where we were mostly watching really old anime from the library and the current popular show. And every time it was a shonen fighting show, the first couple episodes of those shows are usually awesome because they usually have really cool, iconic characters.
Yep. Bleach.
Yep, Bleach.
Bleach is the worst of them all because after episode 1, I knew, and I was done with it.
Yep,
I was
but
like,
I
episode
really-
1, all right, this is a little bit like Yu Yu Hakusho, kind of.
Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho, episode 1, same thing. I thought it was great.
Then episode 2, wait a minute. I'm catching on now. You're not fooling me till episode 13 again.
So I think the worst of all of those, because it's so bad it warrants a special mention, because this show, I watched 4 episodes of,
Yep.
partly because we showed it in club and I was the one who had to stick around to lock the door. Final Fantasy Unlimited.
I did not watch that.
That might be the worst show. I say show because there's special things like Grade the Digital Target that I had ever seen up to that point.
Okay. Up to that point.
It was unbearable and had nothing to do with Final Fantasy except it happened to have a chocobo. And this is before a lot of the Final Fantasy
Wasn't
stuff.
there that other Final Fantasy anime that was
it is
older?
It is
that
worse.
was worse?
Christiana, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's worse, and I chose not to watch it. Never seen it.
I remember that tape was always in the library, and that would be one of
That
the
tape
tapes.
was always in Blockbuster.
That was one of the tapes people would always point to and go, wow, the worst.
That was a show I would
And
be
I didn't
at
watch that
Blockbuster.
either.
I'd look at Blockbuster, and I'd see that, and I'd see, like, Harmageddon, and I'd be like, I'm going to watch Harmageddon.
Anyway, so just to finish off the fighting show list, right? One Piece. I actually watched the One Piece anime 4 episodes, and I liked all of them, and I wanted to keep watching. But I switched over to the manga, and I got to fighting the Swordfish Man, and that lasted multiple volumes of manga. So I stopped buying new volumes, but then the final volume showed up because I pre-ordered, and that volume, they beat the Fish Man, and the plot moved crazy fast. And I was like, oh my god, this is why One Piece is awesome. Why can't every volume be like this? But then I still held fast and did not order any more volumes.
Yep, these are just shows.
And that is a good thing. Otherwise, I would need the whole bookshelf just for the One Pieces.
I don't know if I will ever be at a point in my life where I can deal with the shonen fighting formula of fights go on forever and the show also goes on forever, no matter how good the characters are.
I watched all of Hokuto no Ken, and now I feel as if I'm done.
I feel like
and if I need that again, I'll watch Hokuto no Ken again.
For whatever reason, we've talked about this before. Hokuto no Ken, despite having many of the same issues, feels...
Because it invented the issues.
Exactly, but it also feels faster. Like, if I watch 10 episodes of Hokuto no Ken...
Yeah, because when he punches someone in the head, they die immediately. None of this 10 episode per fight. It's just a different fight every fucking episode.
There might be several episodes of, I'm going to do this thing.
Even
Kenshiro
the climactic fights, like against Rao and shit, are like 2 episodes. The same as Initial D. A race doesn't last more than 2 episodes in Initial D.
But One Piece, I just couldn't deal with.
Yeah.
I think it might be the intimidation of how long the show is. Like, Initial D, even when I was watching it, I recognized the formula that was going on. But I knew it was 26 episodes.
But it's not. I think
it was at the time. One Piece, I knew from the beginning was gonna be forever episodes.
Even longer than freaking anything. All right. So, other anime we started watching did not finish.
No, what's interesting though, I watched all of Sailor Moon. That's 200 episodes, so whatever. So let's get into something different.
It's not a fighting show.
Ergo Proxy was a show that I liked.
I kind of liked it. It was good. It wasn't the best.
Well, it was a show that was...
But I was wondering what the Terrible Secret of Space was.
It started out kind of boring and then really quickly got really good.
I actually thought the first episode was more exciting because all the cool sci-fi stuff in the city.
I thought the first episode was less exciting because it seemed so... like it was trying so hard to be dark and gritty and do some Evangelion shit.
It wasn't
in
the
there.
best cool sci-fi city, cyberpunk, but it was okay.
But basically,
and
that
then
show...
outside the city, it was like, oh, I don't care about these people outside the city. I just want to see you try to get back in. And
well, here, the show, I was like, I liked it, and then just when I started to get bored, they were like, we're getting out of the city with the girl in the rabbit costume. And then I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then it got boring again, and it just started to pick up. And then we were just busy and kind of stopped watching it because I think we were Netflixing it at the time.
And I didn't like it so much that I like fought to go back and see it again.
So that eventually we kind of like, it was a show that we liked, but we kind of forgot we were watching.
Yep.
Because there was a gap. Like, if there hadn't been that gap, I think it was like we went to 2 conventions or something. We didn't have time. We probably would have finished the show, but as soon as we forgot we were watching it, we stopped. We never watched any more of it.
Yeah, Kaze no Yojimbo is similar, right? It's like we watched a little bit at Anime Club back in the day or something.
I tried to watch...
then we started watching it from
twice.
Netflix, and it's like it wasn't the best show, but it wasn't bad, and I was kind of curious what the deal mystery was in the town.
Yep, it also had really good moments, like where the guy'd go out, and then there's the gunshot, and he's like, who fired that? What's going on?
Yep, so it's just, we just kept watching it, sort of, rolling with it, just seeing what's up, and then something interrupted that, and because it wasn't so good that we were desperate and wanted to seek it out,
we forgot.
It wasn't good enough for us to put an effort to see more, so any interruption in the habit of watching it basically ended watching it.
So years later, when I was commuting every day on the train to Yonkers from Beacon, I had a little DVD thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start watching. I need some anime I can watch going to and from work on the train. So I was like, oh yeah, Kaze no Yojimbo. I remember kind of liking that. So I started watching it, and I got to about the point Scott and I had watched it before, and I suddenly realized it was a chore. Like, I liked it okay, but an episode would end, and I'd be like, well, guess I should watch the next one. Like, I gotta get to the end.
It's not like that time when I put Evangelion on my phone and was like, can't stop.
Oh my God, there was one time, one of our friends was
over. I also
over.
put Escaflowne on my phone and did
One of the
same
FRC, Scott and I moved back into our apartment at RIT. Like, I forget if we moved back in or if we just been there and then someone returned, because I forget what year this happened.
We turned Cowboy Bebop on, and we just ended up marathoning it.
To an unnamed member of the FRC, we were like, what, you've never seen Cowboy Bebop? What the fuck? Well, here, we'll show you a couple episodes, and then whatever. And then the 3 of us marathoned the entire show right
at that moment.
I watched episode 1, I was like, oh, right, this show is the best. So I was watching Kaze no Yojimbo, kind of forcing my way through it. It was okay. But then I watched 1 episode of Escaflowne, and I was like, oh my God, that's what it feels like to really want to watch the next episode of a show.
That's right.
And then I decided right then and there, I will never again watch another episode of any show that I don't feel. As soon as I detect that it is a chore, a slog perhaps, I'm bailing and going home, and I'm watching Ava or Eska, Cowboy Bebop, Gundam Seed,
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell.
All right. Are there any other shows you started watching and did not complete watching?
So Scott and Emily both had never really seen Slayers a while ago, so we started watching it bit by bit because I'd seen most of Slayers.
Yep.
This is before Revolution or any of this stuff. So I got DVDs, I borrowed them, we started watching regular Slayers again, and super fun. And we watched next, and we just haven't started Try yet.
Well, we haven't started it, so that doesn't really fit the category.
We still haven't started it. You've never seen it. You could watch it at any time. It's sitting right there.
I will. I want to.
Yeah.
It's good. I did watch the first episode of Slayers Revolution. That doesn't really
I did
count.
too.
There's a lot of animes that I've watched one episode of, but I don't think those count. I think it's more animes you watched a few episodes of, right? For example,
I think The Killer is the show that you watch most of, and that if you got more than halfway through and then you stop.
Yeah, so check this out, right? Over the winter, I got my bike in place thing. I was watching Space Runaway Ideon while biking in place, right?
I remember that show's name.
Originally, I had watched 5 episodes and stopped. And then I got, this time while biking in place in my apartment, I watched 70 to 80% of that show before stopping.
Wow.
And it's not that it really changed or got bad or was a slog. It was, it was just sort of so nothing. It's a terrible secret I want to learn too. But the thing is, most of the episodes, it's pretty much every episode has a space battle no matter what, right? Even though it's a different space battle each episode. So it's sort of like I really just want to fast forward through that battle to see who wins it. It's just like, okay, you're flying around and shooting each other in spaceships again, and the robot, okay, and yep. And that takes up a lot of time. Some of the episodes, it'll take up half the episode.
Wolf's Rain, which is people have been talking about again
Another
recently.
one I started and didn't finish.
Got more than halfway through it.
I got 10 episodes maybe.
And then I got bored with it. I never saw the end.
I got it when the party was together and running through the snowy place.
Yep. But there was a point where I was just I didn't care anymore.
Nope.
I couldn't see where the show was going.
Yep.
But I got more than halfway through, at least with Speedgrapher. 4 episodes in, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, as soon as it got weird.
No, I like weird. It was weird that I didn't care about.
Yep.
I mean, and it was slow, but not in a good way. Gasaraki is slow, but I like that kind of slow.
Yep.
I like that kind of slow a lot, way more than a lot of other people do.
But you don't like the Galaxy train kind of slow.
Night on the Galactic Railroad.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't enjoy that movie. Don't enjoy it at all. But slow space, other kinds of shows I do like.
Yeah.
But Speedgrapher was just, it's the kind of show where if I can't project any good direction, any angle for the show, like Ava, watching it, I projected immediately, there's all these angles it could have. Maybe it's going to be about gods. Maybe it's going to be about transhumanism. But I can project or predict angles that are going to be awesome. But Wolf's Rain, I couldn't come up with any possible way for it to have a satisfying ending. And the same thing with Speedgrapher. I was like, there is nothing this show could be about that would actually satisfy me at the end and explain this bullshit that I just watched.
All right. I got 2 other shows that I can think of off the top of my head that fit this category.
All right.
One is the Ouran High School Host Club.
I really like that show, actually.
I watched 4 episodes, and it was funny, and it was good. But by the 4th episode, it was sort of it's the same joke. All this sort of same, jokes that you had in the other episode. These sort of gendery jokes and things like that. And you know what? I've heard those jokes before, and I don't really feel a strong desire to see the next episode because I'm not laughing at these jokes that hard. So I didn't watch anymore. And that was that. The other one is Haruhi, which I actually did want to keep watching.
I watched 2 episodes of that, and then I marathoned the whole thing with Emily. I really liked that show.
Because I want to know the terrible secret, but I didn't.
The terrible secret. That show is great.
I know most of the terrible secrets, actually, or at least I'm pretty close.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And then...
What do you think... I'll put it this way. Who do you think is the terrible secret? What do you think it revolves around?
Well, isn't the idea that Haruhi is looking for aliens? She believes all this crazy shit.
Yep.
And then she's with all these people who think she's crazy, but they're all in the same club. But actually, all of them are the aliens that she's looking for all the time, except maybe the guy.
Okay.
And then... I don't know.
Okay, there is a significant...
Something about time travel, that's why the episodes are all mixed up?
You have not even conceived of what the show's actually about yet.
Okay.
The show's going to do a thing. You're going to be like, oh, all right.
All right.
At a point.
Anyway, but yeah, that's, sometimes that just happens.
So there's some shows that are big, popular, well-known, or at least in their time were super well-known, that despite being the biggest goddamn anime fans, not only did we never watch them, or at least I never watched them, but in that era, in the 2000s, if I was in Anime Con and I was like, I've never seen Nadesico, people would be like, what the fuck, Rim? What the fuck?
Oh, actually, I did watch a few episodes of Nadesico and not finish it.
I didn't watch any. I never cared about Nadesico. Everyone who ever tried to tell me to watch it told me it was about something different, never told me it was about something good. And the fact that it is basically completely forgotten, except by people who were big into anime and watched it in the 2000s, I think I made the right choice in never watching it.
Yeah, I didn't finish it, and I'm good.
Yeah, but Sarah, I don't think you guys can understand. That was, people would say Nadesico.
It was a pretty big show at the time.
In their list of the 5 or 10 shows that they assume everyone in the club has seen all of.
And when the anime club had like giveaways, there would be like a Nadesico wall scroll, and people knew what it was.
It was like right next to the Ava wall scroll.
That's right.
Like that level.
Yep.
And completely forgotten. Ava, people still argue about it.
Well, I don't even remember the last time I heard someone mention Nadesico before right now.
Yeah, it came up recently because one of our friends was like, "You've still not seen Nadesico?" Which is why I was thinking about this. And I was like, I don't actually ever plan to.
Yeah,
because no one has ever told me it was good.
Don't we have the full set right here?
Yes, I bought the box set. It was like $5. I've never even opened it.
Yeah.
There was another show that was stupidly popular among a good chunk of the anime club, I remember. White Cross.
That was a cute boys show, I think.
I don't know what it's about.
Isn't it similar to Saint Seiya? Or am I just way off?
I think it's about people who run a flower shop but are also terrorists.
Isn't that Gravitation, which I also didn't see any
Gravitation was, I watched some of it.
Okay.
I have beef with Gravitation, but not in this sense.
I think I connect them because they're both cute boys shows, right?
White Cross, the reason I did not watch it was that a ton of people I remember were going crazy about this show. And then I learned that most of them had not ever actually seen a single episode of it.
Really?
So when I learned that, I decided that show is probably stupid. And in retrospect, I was 100%
Another
correct.
show no one talks about anymore.
That show is forgotten. I remember, so the Tenchi, GaoGaiGar, I've never watched. I have no plans to.
I don't watch that simply. I think I actually might like GaoGaiGar, but everyone says, well, it doesn't get good until this late episode, and it's way too many episodes to sit through that are bad. Unlike, say, Hokuto no Ken, which is good every episode.
Thus, GaoGaiGar for me is in that same category that
Not worth the effort
of the Galactic Heroes is that it is worth the effort when I don't have anything else to do.
When I'm an old man and retired, I'll watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
GaoGaiGar, shows like that, I'm going to watch when I'm 90 in a retirement home and all my friends are dead.
Yep. Well, I'll be the one alive when all the
I'll
friends
be the
are
one
dead.
alive.
Okay.
We've got a bet on this.
I will watch GaoGaiGar and be like, this one's for you, Rim.
But
and I'll pour out some digital bits on the floor.
So there was a whole special class of shows that I stopped watching that were basically the shitty TV knockoff of what was a good OAV.
Read or Die TV.
So actually, that's the one I watched all the way through. I was going to save that for last. So El Hazard is a great show. The Wanderers is just a slow-paced, poorly done, shitty, watered-down TV show redo.
Yep, I knew better and didn't even try to watch The Wanderers.
I watched like 5 episodes. I was like, what the fuck?
Same with Lodoss War.
Lodoss War, oh yeah, same thing. Tenchi Muyo, same thing. The original OAV, love or hate that kind of harem show. It was an important show in its time. I enjoyed that show a lot. The TV series that came afterward were each and every one of them increasingly mediocre. You can tell how mediocre a Tenchi episode of anything is by how much later it came out after the first OAV ended.
That reminds me of similar things. For example, I watched all of the first season of Full Metal Panic, but did not watch any other Full Metal Panics because I sort of regretted finishing watching the first one.
I didn't finish the first one because I knew better. I watched that show and I was like, all right. It's got an average to like B-level robot plot and a mildly funny school plot, and they mashed them up. And the good part of the show is that they mashed them up, and that's the cool part. Then they made Fumafu, where they just took, it's like they took the worst, most pedestrian jokes and made the entire show that.
Right. So similarly, I watched all of the Full Metal Alchemist TV series.
As did I as it came out.
Own all the manga, even though I haven't read all of it yet. I do plan to. Have not seen a single second of Brotherhood or any movie.
I didn't watch when the movie. I remember I was excited that the movie was coming, and then it came out.
I didn't watch a second of it. Not even 1 second.
And by that point, it's funny. We were super invested in Full Metal Alchemist. That was
like we would all get together to watch a new episode the day it came out.
That was the big show.
It was huge.
Like we went to. I remember we were at Otakon and Lark All CL did their crazy concert, partly because Full Metal Alchemist, and they did one of the openers.
Yep.
So we were there, and they showed like the first episode of the show. While we were waiting for the concert to start, and even a bunch of our friends were like, whoa, that's what this show is about? Oh my God. And it was the biggest. And I thought that show was the best, and it was pretty good. Within a week of it ending, I forgot about it. Didn't care anymore, never remembered it, have no plans to ever watch it again. It was one of those shows that was good in its era, and everyone watched it, and then no one will remember it. But yeah, in the knockoff genre, I did actually watch all of Read or Die TV. Let me tell you, there is no payoff that could have been possible that would have made that worthwhile. There was, in fact, no payoff.
I watched all of Love Hina. Why did I do this? Because the summer after freshman year at RIT, I spent that summer being camp counselor, but then that didn't take the whole summer. That only takes 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks because of the training week, right? Then I had the rest of the summer to do nothing. The internet was a 56K modem in 2000.
Oh, wait a minute. So the only reason I watched...
The only anime that I had available to me, the only thing I had to do was I had all of Love Hina, which I had downloaded at RIT on this hard drive.
Let me tell you a little story. So I'm living in the mountains with no internet, working at IBM, no friends within hundreds of miles of me.
Yep.
Just kind of, being bored. And on my hard drive, I happen to have all of Gunslinger Girls and all of Read or Die TV. So guess what I watched all of? Yeah.
Someone who's trapped with no way to get more things is gonna watch something crappy.
Fuck both of those shows.
Fuck all three of those shows. Love Hina also.
Good
Love Hina has
God.
cute turtles, and that's it.
But I remember, like, when they announced Tenchi in Tokyo, I was actually excited because I wanted to see the kind of mainline plot of Tenchi go forward. It looked like it was going to be cool. I watched the first episode, and I never watched any more Tenchi after that. I haven't seen any Tenchi since then of any kind.
You saw one episode of Tenchi GXP.
Try to forget that fact. That is still the worst disparity in all of history between the goodness of the opening theme song to an anime and the reality of what that anime is. I don't know who GXP was for.
Nobody.
Like, not even Tenchi fans, because the characters aren't even in it. Like, you watch it, it's like, what is this?
Let's wrap this up by talking about anime we know exists, but we know not to watch, so we haven't watched. For example...
Every incest show.
Well, yes, but I'm talking about less obvious ones. For example, you mentioned Tenchi.
Yep.
We always used to go to Media Play, and what was on the shelf?
Oh, Photon.
That's right. And you know
Photon.
what? Never bought it, never watched it, just ignore. I knew it was there. I kept seeing it over and over again.
I've seen the same poorly dubbed with weird music trailer for it in front of other anime on DVDs like 100 times. Every time, like, oh, right, that show that I'll never watch exists. As far as I can tell, it's about, I don't know, is it a Tenchi knockoff and the guy's an idiot? Like,
I don't know what it is, but I know it exists. I know there's an anime called Photon.
I dare anyone to give us a good reason to watch 1 second of that show.
Right. Any other ones in that category?
In that category.
Something you know is bad.
See, there's a lot of shows that other people probably haven't watched for similar reasons, but I think usually those reasons boil down to they're just too young and don't remember or know these shows exist because there's no longer a culture in anime fan society of discovering old shows. There's no more, the old guy says, hey, watch Golden Boy. So no one will ever watch Golden Boy.
Actually, I haven't seen Golden Boy, though. It's good.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like it.
I know enough to know it's good.
Or like Bakuretsu Hunters. Like, no one's going to tell anyone to watch that.
Yeah, do not watch that.
It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not, you know what? It's on the level of all those shows like that from that era. They're throwaway shows that are moderately funny that were surprisingly popular in their element at the time.
Oh, what was that weird... I'm never going to remember it. I'm not going to be able to describe it because I didn't see it.
Weird show. How weird.
It came in a weird box. Nicole liked it. The box was like black. That has something to do with lesbians.
Oh, that was the show about the lesbian space pirates that was just really dumb.
What's it called?
I don't remember. I'm going to Google for lesbian space pirates and see
You're
if I
going to
can
find Lesbian Space Pirates, which is a comic book that's actually really good.
I actually do really like that comic. Space pirate anime. Not Bodacious Space Pirates.
That's the good one. No.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know if that's actually the good
People
one.
are going to be mad at us because I heard a lot of people say this show is pretty good. I remember debating with people about it. But I just remember people told me it was Cowboy Bebop with an all-female cast, and that is not what that show was.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you know what? There's a show that's really popular that like David Riley and Joel White really like it. But Black Lagoon, I watched a bunch of episodes of, and I just didn't like it.
I watched like 3 episodes, and I was like, what the fuck? This is bullshit.
It just seemed really kind of boring.
I don't understand why everyone likes that show.
Like,
I have no
pedestrian
clue.
is the word I would use to describe that show.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
But at least we know about these shows, though it's kind of bad that I can't remember the name of the show we were just talking about.
Yeah, I can think. You know, I just realized it's just coming into my head now. All these shows like Get Backers and you know, there's just so many shows. D. Gray Man. Fuck.
Well, there was Heat Guy J.
Heat Guy J. It's just
but the problem is those shows
animes
weren't really notable because there's shows that we watched like one episode of and like, yeah, this isn't any good and just didn't bother. There's a difference between that and the show that you know exists, could watch and choose to never watch, or the show that you watch a lot of and then stop watching. So yourself, think about shows like that. Like try to list the shows you gave up on after having invested substantial time in them.
Yep.
You might see a pattern.
I never watched any of those Crest or Star banners.
Crest of the Stars was okay, but I never watched Banner of the Star because Crest was actually kind of too boring for me. And that's coming from a man who thinks Gasaraki is a great anime that everyone should see.
Whoa.
As someone who did not fall asleep during Skycrawlers.
Whoa. All right, have we gone on long enough?
I think we're good.
All right, but yeah, there's a lot of anime.
So I wonder how many people stopped listening to this show before it finished.
Hopefully, if they were smart, most of them.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
mondo